Welcome to my take on a African violet. This one will be in purple and it feeds into my sampler quilt that I'm putting together based on flowers. This has several components that go together. It is very simple. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. I would rate this as a beginner-friendly, confident beginner pattern. So stick around while we put this together. First thing up is making these corners that'll be the leaves. So we need to do 4 sets of 4 patches. So I have one here, here, 2 more down here. What I'm going to do is I'll sew them together in groups. So seam there, 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 flip them, press them, and then do the final seam there. So I'll be back when I have that done. Okay, so I got the 4 patches done. I am using some leftover fabric, so it is what I call scrappy. The green, I didn't want it to be very bright, so I'm actually using the other side of the fabric just to give it more of a soft look. So that's an option as well. So next up we have 4 of these we need to make, which is the center part. This is, let's see, this is 4.5 square. These are 2.5 inch and right sides together like this. And this is our stitch and flip. So you get them lined up nicely. And then we're going to sew from corner to corner. Flip it over, make sure it matches okay. Keep maintaining that squareness in the corner. If you're happy with it, then you trim off the extra fabric and that becomes a bonus for something else. Once you've stitched this line, you can also do another one about 1/2 inch away and then slice in between them, and then right away you have a 1/2 square triangle on the smaller size for something else. So we'll do 4 of those and then I'll be right back. Just going to show you what I meant by the double stitching. So this stitching line here is the one we need to keep. The furthest one will create this bonus HST. I'd actually put glue on it so it's sticking a little bit, but if you look, we have a nice little HST. So what I'll do is I'll trim down here. This will go into my future pile, and then this is how I want this one to end up looking, like that. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will explain it further. Next, we need to make a series of HSTs. So what I have here are 4 darker purples and then 4 mid-tone purples. They don't need to have a huge contrast between each other. It's just to add a little bit of interest to it. If you want to use all the same fabric, go for it. It's your quilt, so do whatever you like. Same with the background. I'm using a mixture. They're all in the same hue, so I think it'll turn out just perfect. So each one of these groups will end up with 2 HSTs. So as we normally do with an HST, we will be marking from corner to corner, right sides together, so 1 purple and 1 background. Draw from corner to corner, and then we'll sew a 1/4 inch on either side, cut them apart, and then you'll end up with 2 per set. In the end, we need to have 16 of these. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, yeah, 16 altogether. So 8 will give us our 16. So I will go through, mark these, stitch these, press these, and then we can actually start doing the final assembly. As I said, this goes together very quickly, so I hope you're enjoying putting this together as much as I am showing it to you. Okay, I now have all the HSTs sewn together, and I just want to quickly show you what I meant. We have the center mark here, corner to corner, which I put the edge of my presser foot against, and then stitching on both sides 1/4 inch. Because I've spec'd the fabric to be larger than it needs to be, there is a little bit of extra here, so precision is not 100% required. So what we'll do next is trim these apart here, press them open, and then they get trimmed down to 2.5 inches. And as a reminder, when I'm trimming HSTs down, I do have a revolving cutting mat that I like to use when I remember to use it. And I use a ruler. This is Creative Grids 3.5. I just like their product. They have the non-slip grippy stuff on the back. So I just line the 45° up with the pressed seam here, and then I figure out my 2.5 inch mark, and then I start squaring it up there, flip it over and do the other edge. That's the system I use. It works the best for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do these, and then I'll show you what's happening next. Okay, so I have all the HSTs squared down to 2.5 inches. There wasn't that much extra fabric, maybe 1/8 inch on all 4 sides, so do alter if you want to. Next up is we're going to create our first little block here. So what we need to do is take 2 of the HSTs and join them to this edge. We're going to keep this darker part in the center because that's going to be the center of the flower. And we're going to join here and here, and then we'll take these and we'll join them here. What we also need to be doing is putting another patch in this position like this. So this is where we start getting into a little bit of tricky putting together, but I will show you. So let me get these done and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the HSTs joined together. If you were using the same fabric, you could do these as flying geese. Because I'm using different fabric, I chose to do it this way. So next what we're going to do is we're going to join, we're building 4 corner blocks is what we're doing. So everything we're doing right now we'll be doing 4 times. So these get joined together, then they get joined with this, then they get joined, these get joined together, and these get joined here. Or you can do seam here, that's 1 unit, and then seam there, press all your seams, and then flip together and you're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You might want to pay attention to how you press your seams. I like to press to one side depending on where the fabric's going. On this one, because there is quite of a lighter background, I will have the dark in some cases over on a little bit of the light. If I'm careful with sewing though, my point will be right there, so you really won't notice it much. So let me go ahead, I'll join these and I'll be right back. Next up, we're going to make our center portion of the block. So what we need to do is take the hourglasses and have them so the V part is facing this way, and you're going to attach it to a piece of background that's 2.5 by 6.5. You're going to do that 4 times. So on each of these, they're all facing this way. Your seams can be here, 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 and here. Once that's done, we can do our final assembly. Almost there, hang in. Okay, now that the hourglasses have been joined to the center background fabric, we're gonna do this 4 times, where we're going to have the center of this block facing in and the hour block facing towards you, and then right sides together and stitch it along here. So as I said, we're going to do that 4 times. This is an opportunity to nest the seam on the hourglass right here with this one, so it'll fit together quite nicely. So I'll do that, and then we'll have a couple more things to do, and then we're done. Okay, just making a correction to the last instruction that I told you. If you sew this here, then you end up with, how do you join these all together without there being Y seams, which I don't want to get into today. So I actually took out my friend Jack, and we took out this seam here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together here. I'll join the center yellow with one of these strips with the hourglass on it. Then I'll flip this, add it to that, and then I'll add this panel to that, and then it's done. If you need me to clarify that, please let me know. But just to be clear, I'm stitching here, those 2 together, that will get joined there to complete that. That will get joined, and then the whole thing will get put together, and then we're almost done. I know I keep saying we're almost done. We are actually almost done. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. It's all done. It measures 18.5, so an 18-inch block once it's done. I'm going to call this block 2 in a sampler flower quilt. It's referred to as Ina's Violet, after my aunt. Use any colors you want. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, you can also email me at sewedwithdeb@gmail.com. I hope to see you next time. Take care and have a great day of sewing. Bye for now.